Hello, this is White Sargasso Sea by Jane Eyre. Today we are going to discuss a very important issue in this text, which is racism or racism. By racism, we mean discrimination or distinction or differentiation among people according to the colors of their complexion or the colors of their skin. Racism constitutes or forms or is considered a case of inequality and injustice. So it's a case of oppression. It's based on Charles Darwin's theory of the origin of species, أصل الأجناس, that man is a descendant from an ape. يعني man is a development of a monkey-like creature. And that the white man is more developed than the black man in both body and intellect. This claim هذا الادعاء was adopted as a justification or was used as a reason or a cause for the European colonial project, as is seen in the concept of the white man's burden, عبء الرجل الأبيض, or the civilizing mission. According to this concept, the European soldier or the European man thinks that he comes to the East or the Orient in order to spread civilization, not to colonize and exploit the riches of those countries. Racism is a prominent theme in White Sargasso Sea. This is clear from a number of incidents in this text. Antoinette and her family had been slave owners up until the Slave Abolition Act اللي هو قانون منع العبودية in 1833. And subsequently or following this act, they lost their wealth or properties. Although the Emancipation Act has freed the slaves by the time of Antoinette's childhood, compensation, التعويضات, hasn't been granted, breeding hostility or causing enmity or hatred and resentment, anger between servants and their white employers. The servants or the ex-slaves call their employers white nigger because of their poverty, and the ex-slaves want to express their open despise or open hatred. Whenever Annette, the mother of Antoinette, takes a ride with her horse, the townspeople gather in groups to jeer at her or to mock her or satirize her or to annoy her, especially after her riding clothes grew shabby or became old and not fine. Later, they killed the horse to put an end of her riding trips. One day, a girl followed Antoinette, the protagonist, the child protagonist, singing, "Go away, white cockroach, صرصار أبيض. Go away, nobody wants you." The beautiful garden, which is compared to the biblical garden at the beginning of the text, turns wild or uncared or untended because all the ex-slaves left the plantations and the gardens. Further, the slaves gather and burn the house of the family, of the white family or the creole family, killing the young disabled child Pierre, leading to the insanity of the mother or the loss of her mind and the departure of the family after the separation of the members of the family. The writer Jane Eyre exposes the culture of the Black people as a distinct culture from the white culture. The ex-slaves insisted to burn the whole house, but when they saw a parrot flying and then falling in fire, they all retreat because it's a bad omen, فعل سيء, in their beliefs. The townspeople respect and avoid Christophine for her knowledge in witchcraft or black magic, which is called, according to the island people, Obeah. Rochester, the Englishman, looks down, بيحتقر, on Antoinette because she is a creole. Antoinette is not English, and yet her family history privileges her as a white woman. يعني her family was immigrant family, so they lived no more in England. That's why they are not considered or highly regarded as those who live in England, because they have mixed with or confronted with or lived among savage people. The ex-slaves who worked on the sugar plantations, مزارع السكر, of wealthy Creole figures prominently in part 1 of the novel, which is set in the West Indies, a place in the Caribbean islands, in the early 19th century. Annette, the mother, feels helplessly imprisoned at Colibri State after the death of her husband, repeating the word marooned over and over again, meaning that she becomes helpless. The white born in England are distinguished from the white Creoles, the descendants of Europeans who have lived in the West Indies, a place in the Caribbean islands, for one or more generation. Further complicating the social structure is the population of Black ex-slaves, who maintain their own kinds of stratification or class division. Some ex-slaves had sexual relationships with their white masters. So their offspring or their children constitute or form a problem in the social class structure. Those children cannot be regarded as middle class people as their parent, as their white parent, or can't be considered the lower class as their slave mother. So this is one of the problems between the Black and white. And this is reflected in one of the character of the text who claims that he is Antoinette's brother. Christophine, for instance, stands apart from the Jamaican servants because she is originally from the French Caribbean island Martinique. Furthermore, there is a large mixed race population as white slave owners throughout the Caribbean and the American were famous for raping and impregnating, يعني to cause a woman to become pregnant, female slave. This is seen in the case of Sandy and Danielle Causeway. They are illegal children of Mr. Causeway, the father of Antoinette. Both occupy this middle ground between black and white society. These are some of the examples from the text which illustrate the problem between the white and the black in this novel. Thanks for watching. Thank you and goodbye.